Hello, I'm Alma Angeles, and you're watching Eagle News International.
And I'm CJ Hero. Welcome to the program. On tonight's headlines.
Myanmar's junta late Sunday imposed martial law in two densely populated Yangon townships after at least 18 protesters were killed in one of the deadliest days since the February 1 coup.
A block on mobile data networks across Myanmar on Monday scuppered a scheduled video court appearance by ousted leader Aung San Suu Kyi as protesters returned to the streets after the bloodiest day since the military coup 6 weeks ago.
Schools, restaurants, shops, and museums were ordered to close across most of Italy today after Prime Minister Mario Draghi warned of a new wave of coronavirus infections.
And women won every major Grammys at Sunday's history-making gala, a joyful night for music's biggest stars after a devastating year for the industry, with Beyoncé, Megan Thee Stallion, and Taylor Swift triumphing at the socially distanced event, anchored by electrifying performances.
Clashes continue in Myanmar. Security forces in Myanmar continued their brutal crackdowns on the protesters. Sunday's violence brings the number of people killed in mass protests since the military wrenched civilian leader Aung San Suu Kyi from power to around 100 now, through activists and rights groups believe it could be higher. The junta has repeatedly justified its power grab by alleging widespread electoral fraud in November's elections, which Suu Kyi's National League for Democracy Party won by a landslide. Here's more from Eliana Faith Sebastian, who's monitoring the events from Vietnam. Hello, Eliana.
Hello, Alma. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, that's right. Myanmar's junta late Sunday imposed martial law in two densely populated Yangon townships after at least 18 protesters were killed in one of the deadliest days since the February 1 coup. The vast and impoverished townships are known as factory hubs and home to garment factories. The junta gives administrative and judicial martial law power to the Yangon regional commander to perform security, maintain the rule of law and tranquility more effectively, said an announcer on state-run TV. In Lengtaryar Township, police and soldiers clashed violently, with protesters wielding sticks and knives and rushing for protection behind makeshift barricades. State-run media said that 5 factories in the garment-producing township had been razed. Among the burned buildings were Chinese-owned factories. Beijing's embassy in Myanmar said it condemned actions of the destroyers in a statement posted on their official Facebook account. It said the embassy quickly urged local police to guarantee the security of Chinese businesses and personnel. Meanwhile, a court in military-ruled Myanmar was unable to hold a virtual hearing on Monday for ousted leader Aung San Suu Kyi because of internet problems. The hearing was adjourned until March 24. Tin Maung Zaw also said in a video message that authorities had informed him the detained Nobel laureate was only permitted to be represented by 2 junior lawyers. The Nobel laureate faces at least 4 charges: possessing unlicensed walkie-talkies, violating coronavirus restrictions, breaching telecommunications laws, and intent to cause public unrest. Military authorities have also accused her of accepting illegal payments of $600,000 in cash, as well as large quantity of gold. Allegations her lawyer says are groundless. Tin Maung Zaw has complained he has not been allowed to meet Suu Kyi, who has been in custody since the coup, though he said that the 75-year-old appeared in good health at her last court appearance by video link on March 1. Meanwhile, the ongoing violence in Myanmar is impacting its neighbors. Hundreds of police and government officers have already crossed the border into India to escape the crackdown by Myanmar's military junta, even in Thailand, wherein Foreign Ministry has called on Myanmar to de-escalate unrest and release its detainees. During a press conference, Foreign Ministry spokesman Tani Singrat says Thailand has set up facilities at its border in the event that refugees from Myanmar wish to seek asylum here, that none had arrived yet. Back to you, Alma.
All right, thank you very much, Eliana, and looking forward to more updates coming out of Myanmar as you follow the developments from there. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Alma, reporting live from Da Nang, Vietnam. This is Eliana Faith Sebastian. We live in interesting times.
Meanwhile, a block on mobile data networks across Myanmar scuppered a scheduled video court appearance by ousted leader Aung San Suu Kyi as protesters returned to the streets after the bloodiest day since the military coup 6 weeks ago. Watch this.
Already known, the court hearing has to be conducted virtually using internet and video conferencing with them. But today, there is no internet in the whole country, not even in the Naypyidaw area. So there is no court hearing today. The case was adjourned to 24th of this month. And on that day, the two young lawyers that who has got the signed power of attorney of Aung San Suu Kyi will participate in the video conferencing, and in that video conferencing they will make any possible opportunity to get the other senior lawyers to be included in the defense group.
The court hearing for Suu Kyi, who spent more than 15 years under house arrest during previous military rule, was scheduled for 10 a.m. or about 3:30 GMT in Myanmar's capital, Naypyidaw, but it was postponed until March 24. Suu Kyi faces at least 4 charges, including possessing unlicensed walkie-talkies, violating coronavirus restrictions, breaching telecommunications law, and intent to cause public unrest. Military authorities have also accused her of accepting illegal payments of $600,000 in cash, as well as large quantity of gold, allegations her lawyer says are groundless. Suu Kyi's postponed hearing came a day after violent clashes between security forces and protesters and the torching of several Chinese-owned factories in a textile-producing district of commercial hub Yangon, as many protesters believe Beijing is supportive of the coup. The AAPP on Monday said 6 more deaths had been confirmed, to add to an overnight toll of 38, making Sunday the deadliest single day since the military seized power.
Meanwhile, tens of thousands of women arrested or protested across Australia against sexual violence as outrage grew over rape allegations that have convulsed the Conservative government. Let's listen in.
Murdered at the rate. I think finally women in Australia have had enough. I'm going to cry. We've had enough.
Oh, I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely sick of listening to sexual assault on the TV and nothing's been done about it. I'm absolutely sick of violence against women. And it's about time this civilised country became more civilised.
And we're here on behalf of the refugee women who have been raped and abused and never heard. And for my kid, and as a migrant woman.
In schools, in universities, in refugee detention, in offices, so many places. It's happening to disabled people, it's happening to elderly people in nursing homes. There's too much cover-up, there's not enough action. Women are being murdered at the rate of 1 a week.
The hashtag March for Justice rallies were held in more than 40 Australian cities and towns, with a major demonstration in Canberra following allegations of sexual assault in the nation's parliament. Former government staffer Brittany Higgins, seen here, alleged publicly last month that she had been raped by a colleague in a minister's office in 2019. And earlier this month, Attorney General Christian Porter, seen here again, vigorously denied swirling accusations he had raped a 16-year-old girl in 1988 when they were both students. The controversy has placed growing pressure on Prime Minister Scott Morrison, who critics say has fumbled the government's response to the scandals.
Very nice. And so now...
Here in the Philippines now, presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said or announced that he has tested positive for COVID-19 but will continue to work remotely. Watch this.
Mataas ang bilang ng mga aktibong kaso ng COVID. Meron nang nai-report kahapon na 4,899 na mga bagong kaso ayon po sa March 14 case bulletin ng DOH. At bukas po, yung magiging case bulletin ng DOH, kasama na rin po ang inyong abang lingkod because as of 11:29 this morning, nakuha ko po ang resulta na positibo po ako para sa COVID. Now, ang mabuting balita naman po sa akin, lahat ng mga nagkaroon ng close contact sa akin po, yung aking mga dalawang huling test ay noong March 10, negatibo po tayo. No? Itong March 10 po, nag-test tayo dahil nga po sasama tayo kay Presidente sa Dumaguete, kinabukasan 11, so negative po tayo noong March 10. Pero itong test po na kung saan tayo nagpositibo, ito po ay kahapon lamang, para nga po sana ngayon, para sa pagpupulong kay Presidente mamaya, at dito po lumabas na tayo ay positibo. So yung mga nagkaroon po sa akin ng close contact, I ask you po for your indulgence, pero kinakailangan po kayong mag-quarantine. No? Pero yung pinuntahan ko po sa Ilocos, sa gaya ng aking sinabi, negatibo naman po ako noong March 10. Okay. Lumabas po ang resulta, 11:29, nandito na po ako sa opisina, kaya tinutuloy ko na rin po ang press briefing. Nag-iisa po ako ngayon sa aking opisina, and that is why we are on Zoom.
Roque admitted that he regretted not getting inoculated with China's Sinovac-made Coronavac vaccine when doctors from the University of the Philippines, Philippine General Hospital, offered it to him last March 1. Earlier, Roque said the interim National Immunization Technical Advisory Groups discouraged government officials to get inoculated until all frontline health workers receive the vaccine.
And let's get the latest updates in Japan. Here's Dennis Liu joining us live. Hello, Dennis.
Hello, Alma. Good evening.
Good evening.
Japan's minister in charge of COVID-19 vaccinations, Taro Kono, said the country is considering issuing certificates to those who have been inoculated against the coronavirus during a diet season session. He said the certificates can be processed through government vaccine rollout management systems. This comes as calls grow for such a system in the United States and Europe. Israel has already introduced a COVID-19 vaccine certificate program. Last month, Kono appeared to shoot down the idea of using COVID-19 vaccine certificates for official purposes, including as a vaccine passport that would permit international travel. He argued doing so would exclude those who cannot be inoculated because of allergies. In terms of the domestic vaccine rollout, the government plans to urge companies to allow employees to take paid leave to get shots and go to hospital in the event of side effects. In light of the worries some people may have about making time to go to vaccination venues. Meanwhile, Alma, an update on the Olympics. The starting ceremony for this month's Olympic torch relay will be held without spectators. According to its organizers, Kyodo News said the government had concluded it was not possible to allow fans from abroad to attend this summer's games, already delayed by a year because of the pandemic. This was due to concerns among the Japanese public over the coronavirus and the fact that more contagious variants have been detected in many countries. Meanwhile, today, NHK reported that Japan's Prime Minister Suga Yoshihide has said that it is too early to tell whether the coronavirus state of emergency can be lifted for Tokyo and 3 neighboring prefectures next Sunday as scheduled. Suga told an upper house budget committee session that he will make a final decision after seeking experts' opinions. Suga said the pace of decline in new cases has leveled off recently, and he cannot tell under current conditions whether the state of emergency should end or be extended again. The head of the government's expert panel, Omi Shigeru, also said further analysis is needed. The Prime Minister said the state of emergency was extended for 2 weeks for Kanagawa, Saitama, and Chiba prefectures, as well as Tokyo, because the medical care system was still under strain. Alma?
All right. Thank you very much for your update, Dennis. You do stay safe over there, and belated happy birthday.
Stay safe, Alma. Thank you very much. Reporting from Tokyo, Japan, this is Dennis Lu. We live in interesting times.
The United States top pandemic advisor said Sunday that authorities were considering cutting social distancing rules to 3 feet or 1 meter, a move that would change a key tenet of the global fight against COVID-19. Anthony Fauci, a world-respected figure during the coronavirus crisis, said experts at the Centers for Disease Control, or CDC, were examining a Massachusetts study that found no substantial difference in COVID cases in schools, observing 6-foot and 3-foot rules. Asked on CNN's State of the Union show whether that meant that a 3-foot separation was sufficient, Fauci replied, "It does indeed," while cautioning that the CDC was still weighing the data and conducting its own tests. He said its findings would come soon. The 6-foot social distancing rule has been a widely adopted global measure to prevent the spread of the coronavirus, along with mask wearing and hand washing. School officials across the world are under pressure to fully reopen as soon as safely possible, but many say that the 6-foot requirement makes it difficult without adding portable classrooms or shortening the school day. Many teachers' unions have also insisted on the 6-foot distancing.
In other news, Pasig City Mayor Vic Soto announced today that he will be in isolation after his personal driver died of the coronavirus disease on Saturday. Soto posted on Twitter that he will be in quarantine until March 24, even if his results come out negative. His driver, whom he called Kuya Vener, last drove for him on March 10. And Soto said he will strictly follow the isolation and quarantine protocols set by the Department of Health. He also assured his constituents that he will work remotely or online until the end of the month. He warned anew his constituents that not to be complacent and to continue observing the minimum health standards amid the ongoing surge of COVID-19 cases. Soto encouraged those who don't have essential travels to stay at home. He also cited the significance of the public's discipline and cooperation with the government's efforts to contain the spread of the infection.
In other news, Ireland and Netherlands on Sunday became the latest countries to suspend their rollouts of AstraZeneca jabs over concerns about post-jab blood clots, despite the firm insisting there was no risk, as most Italians were bracing for a new round of restrictions. Norwegian officials said on Saturday the country had reports of people bleeding under the skin and severe cases of blood clots or brain hemorrhages in younger people who had received the shot. So far, more than 350 million doses have been doled out across the world, but countries including Denmark, Norway, and Bulgaria suspended the rollout of jabs from the Anglo-Swedish pharma giant this week after reports of blood clots developing in patients who had received the shot. The World Health Organization, Europe's medicines watchdog, governments and experts have stressed that no causal link has been established between the vaccine and blood blood clotting and insisted that the shot is safe. An AstraZeneca spokesman said it had found no evidence of increased risk of blood clot conditions after analyzing reported cases from more than 17 million doses. The spokesman said, in fact, the reported numbers of these types of events for COVID-19 vaccine AstraZeneca are lower than the number that would have occurred naturally in the unvaccinated population.
Meanwhile, the United States temporarily closed its consulate in Hong Kong on Monday after 2 staff tested positive for the coronavirus during a new outbreak that has rippled through the city's well-heeled expat community. The 2 cases emerged during an ambush lockdown, a tactic used by Hong Kong authorities to descend overnight on apartment blocks where they suspect there may be cases and test everyone inside. Hong Kong has managed to keep infections low thanks to some of the strictest quarantine measures in the world. It has recorded some 11,000 infections and 200 deaths since the pandemic began. In recent days, a new cluster that was first traced to an upmarket gym has swept through wealthier districts favored by the white-collar immigrants who staff the city's finance industries and consulates. The gym infection has ballooned to more than 100 confirmed infections, while some 750 people deemed close contacts have been sent to mandatory government-run quarantine camps. The U.S. consulate infections were first reported by News, an online news outlet operated by the largest pro-Beijing state media group in Hong Kong. And their report claimed the 2 consulate staff invoked diplomatic immunity and refused to be quarantined. That prompted a call from Hong Kong's largest pro-Beijing political party to protest outside the consulate, but the gathering was moved to a different district and only a handful showed up. Hong Kong health authorities said the pair were being placed on a hospital isolation ward. And the news continues here on Eagle News. We'll be right back.
This portion is brought to you by Canriv Corporation, your ventilation and air conditioning specialist. Services offered: supply and installation of elevators, escalators, air conditioners, ventilators, jet towel, hand dryers, generators, access control system, factory automation, and modernization. For more info, please contact Ami Kanke at 0915-263-7198 or 0998-900-3224.
5 na ang nakaabang. Sino kaya ang makakalamang upang kunin ang huling pwesto sa March Monthly Finals? Alam mo, pag hindi mo kasi ine-enjoy at nararamdaman yung awitin na yan, parang bitin, no? Parang sa rock band. Pumasok ka na kaya sa rock band. This is Tagisan ng Galing Part 2, Singing Edition.
Welcome back to the news. Schools, restaurants, shops, and museums were ordered to close across most of Italy today after Prime Minister Mario Draghi warned of a new wave of coronavirus infections. 1 year after it became the first European country to face a major outbreak, Italy is once again struggling with the rapid spread of COVID-19, this time fueled by new, more contagious variants. A majority of regions, including those containing Rome and Milan, were classified by Health Minister Roberto Speranza as high-risk red zones from Monday, with all residents told to stay home except for work, health, or other essential reasons. The highest level COVID-19 restrictions will apply throughout Italy from April 3 to 5, effectively placing the country under a national lockdown over the Catholic Easter holiday weekend. For the duration of the holiday weekend lockdown, meanwhile, the government has relaxed the usual red zone rules slightly, allowing people to move within their region once a day to visit the home of friends or relations between 5 o'clock in the morning to 10 p.m.
Health workers at a Malaysian hospital are given doses of the Pfizer-BioNTech coronavirus vaccines as part of the country's continued inoculation drive. Malaysia received its first batch of vaccines in late February. Nearly 250,000 doses have been administered in Malaysia so far, with medical staff and security officers getting priority. The Southeast Asian nation is planning to vaccinate at least 80% of its 32 million population, with the program covering 3 phases that are expected to end by February next year. More than 319,000 COVID-19 cases and 1,200 deaths have been recorded in Malaysia so far.
Meanwhile, intensive care doctors in Germany warned Monday that the country would need to make an immediate return to partial lockdown if it is to avoid stumbling into a dangerous third wave of the coronavirus pandemic. From the data we currently have and with the spread of the British mutation, we would argue strongly to return immediately into a lockdown to avoid a strong third wave, Christian Karagianidis, director of Germany's Intensive Care Register, told broadcaster RBB. Germany has seen a rise in cases since it began a gradual easing of coronavirus measures in late February, allowing schools, hairdressers, and other businesses to partially reopen. Latest DV figures show that Germany currently has almost 2,800 people in intensive care, but the director warned that the figure could rise to 5,000 or 6,000 if state governments do not respond to rising case numbers with stricter measures. Speaking at a government press conference later on Monday, Chancellor Angela Merkel's spokesman said that the recent easing of restrictions could be reversed if numbers continued to rise.
In other news, heavy rains and unprecedented flooding have battered Hawaii this whole week, damaging dozens of properties, triggering landslides and overwhelming infrastructure like bridges and sewers. Sadly, for one Filipino farmer who lost her crops to the storm, the road to recovery could be long and difficult. Our EBC Hawaii Bureau takes a closer look at the devastation.
Noon pong nakaraang linggo, bago po magkaroon ng mga malalakas na pag-ulan at pagbaha, ito pong lugar po na ito ay punong-puno ito ng ginger flower. At ang sabi nga po ni Carita, nakapag-harvest po sila dito ng mga bulaklak. Ngayon ay yan ang makikita natin. Tinangay na. Ano po, wala nang iniwan yung baha. May mga naiwan man, kakaunti na lang po. Ito pong malawak na bakante ngayon. Dati may mga tanim din. Mga ginger flower, mga gabi at mga saging. Po, dito'y napakaraming tanim na mga gabi. At yan na lang po ang natira. Ito natatapakan ko po ngayon ay malambot na lupa, dala po ng baha. Dati po, maraming tubig ito. Ay naanod na po yung iba dahil sa nasira yung pinagmumulan ng tubig. Natuyo na rin yung ilog dun sa itaas pa doon. Yung ibang mga saging na nakatanim po dito ay nabunot, naanod po ng agos ng tubig. Medyo maluwag-luwag po yung area hanggang doon. Mula doon po hanggang dito sa gabi ito. Sa dami po ng tubig galing sa bundok, itong nakikita natin na to na umaagos. Dati ito po ay tuyo. Ano po, nalalakaran niya ng tao, pwedeng pumunta dyan. At dito namimitas ng bulaklak, sikarita ng kanilang mga ginger. Ang tubig dati, doon po sa may wall po na yon. Sa kabila po niyan, doon ang tubig dati. Ngayon yung tubig gumawa ng sarili niyan daan sa sobrang dami na. At itong lugar po na ito, dito'y nakatanim dati ang mga ginger, flower. Ngayon makikita natin, wala na, naubos na, nabunot. Tinangay po ng rumaragas ang tubig. Yung iba nandyan po, natumba na lang po. Mga naiwan, meron pang mga ilang gabi na natira. Yan po yung mga ginger, flower. Sobrang tindi po ng pinsala ng tubig.
In other news, Beijing was cloaked in thick yellow smog on Monday, with pollution levels surging off the charts as the worst sandstorm in a decade descended on China's capital from the Gobi Desert. City residents used goggles, masks, and hairnets to protect themselves from the choking dust and sand, with landmarks including the Forbidden City partly obscured behind an apocalyptic-looking haze. The government, or the city government, ordered schools to cancel outside sport and events and advised the public to stay inside where possible, as hundreds of flights were canceled. Chinese weather agencies blamed the poor air quality on a sandstorm sweeping across northern China from northern Mongolia, where authorities said it had left several dead before being carried south by winds and reducing visibility in Beijing to less than 500 meters. AQICN said levels of PM10, large particulate matter, were nearly 20 times the World Health Organization's recommended daily maximum exposure. But the state-run Global Times said PM10 pollution in the 6 downtown districts was over 8,100 on Monday morning, a figure which would be 160 times the recommended limit. Smaller PM2.5 particles, which seep deep into human lungs and cause respiratory illnesses, were also at a hazardous level on Monday morning. It was the worst sandstorm in a decade to hit a capital, which had pegged its hopes of rebuilding a natural barrier to such phenomena on intensive tree planting in stripped forest areas, also known as the Great Wall. Beijing said last year it expected fewer and weaker sandstorms to hit northern China due to its reforestation efforts. A 2019 study published in the journal Nature Sustainability found some 2 million square miles of vegetation had been added to the surface of the Earth since 2000, a quarter of which was contributed by China.
Meanwhile, a powerful late winter storm intensified over the central Rocky Mountains on Sunday. The heavy snow and wind led to airports and road closures. Warnings of power outages and avalanche warnings in parts of Colorado, Wyoming, and Nebraska. According to Guardian News, the National Weather Service in Wyoming called it a historic and crippling winter storm that would cause extremely dangerous to impossible travel conditions through at least early Monday U.S. time. The National Weather Service also said the huge storm is expected to see up to 2 feet of snow and winds of up to 45 miles per hour in northern Colorado, southeast Wyoming, and western Nebraska through Sunday U.S. time. The Colorado Department of Transportation strongly urged motorists to avoid traveling during the storm, as snowfall totals could reach 4 feet in higher elevations of the Rocky Mountains.
In other news, Pentagon Chief Lloyd Austin and top U.S. diplomat Antony Blinken arrived in Japan on Monday on their first overseas trip, looking to rally key Asian allies as a bulwark to China. The pair, who traveled separately, met in Japan for the first leg of their trip, holding talks with their counterparts as well as Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga. They will both continue to South Korea before Defense Secretary Austin heads separately to India, and Secretary Secretary of State Blinken holds talks back in the United States with Chinese officials. President Joe Biden's team has been deliberately slow to start the usually hectic pace of diplomatic travel that marks a new administration, hoping to set an example discouraging travel during the pandemic.
In other news, Britain unveiled details of its touring student exchange program. Prime Minister Boris Johnson said this exchange program aims to help 35,000 British students of all income groups from across the country experience fantastic education opportunities in any country they choose. Nicole Jansen reports.
Here is an update in the United Kingdom. Britain on Friday unveiled details of its touring student exchange program, which controversially replaced the European Erasmus scheme, causing an outcry after Brexit. The program, named after the British mathematician Alan Turing, aims to help 35,000 British students of all income groups from across the country to experience fantastic education opportunities in any country they choose, Prime Minister Boris Johnson said in a statement. Unlike Erasmus, which operated in EU countries, Johnson said the £110 million touring program would be truly global. Britain left the Erasmus scheme, in which it had participated since 1987, when it left the European Union at the beginning of this year, causing consternation among students and higher education bodies. But Education Secretary Gavin Williamson said the emphasis of its replacement would be social mobility and value for money. It will open up more opportunities for international education and travel to all of our students than the Erasmus scheme, especially for those from disadvantaged backgrounds. Eligible schools and universities can apply for funding to cover their costs and allow disadvantaged students to get a grant of up to £490 per month for travel and living expenses. But for some, the new program falls short of its predecessor. The new scheme offers no help with tuition fees, which can be astronomical, said Carol Monaghan from the pro-European Scottish National Party. The Turing program also does not provide for reciprocity for European students studying in the United Kingdom, of which there are currently 150,000, making enrollment more complicated and expensive. Reporting from London, United Kingdom, I am Nicole Salenga. We live in interesting times.
Eagle News will return. Please don't go away.
Mula noon hanggang ngayon, gabay natin ang MTRCB ratings sa matalino at responsableng panonood. Sa tamang pagsunod sa MTRCB ratings, ginagawa nating ligtas at makabuluhan ang panonood ng bawat miyembro ng pamilyang Pilipino. Lumipas man ang panahon, hanggang may pamilyang Pilipino, andyan ang MTRCB.
Kumanta, sumaya tayong lahat. Saya-saya.
Welcome back to the news. Takeaway meals app Deliveroo said Monday that its upcoming London stock market listing would raise £1 billion, or about $1.4 billion, or 1.2 billion euros. The company has already picked London for its initial public offering, but it has not yet indicated the amount of shares nor the total valuation of the listing. The offer will comprise of new shares to be issued by the company, raising gross proceeds of approximately £1 billion, and existing shares to be sold by certain existing shareholders, the firm said in a statement about the listing, which is planned for April. Deliveroo, in line with other home delivery companies, has seen demand soar in the past year owing to lockdowns during the coronavirus pandemic. The company confirmed in January that it would target a London IPO after a fundraising round valued it at more than $7 billion, or about 5.8 billion euros. Monday's statement comes 1 week after the group said it had slashed losses last year on booming demand from locked-down customers.
Women won every major Grammy at Sunday's history-making gala, a joyful night for music's biggest stars after a devastating year for the industry, with Beyoncé, Megan Thee Stallion, and Taylor Swift triumphing at the socially distanced event anchored by electrifying performances. It was a monumental night for Beyoncé, take a look, who broke the record for most career wins by a female artist with 28. Now, Swift became the first woman to win the coveted Album of the Year prize 3 times this year for Folklore, the first of her twin quarantine releases. And rap sensation Megan Thee Stallion charmed while accepting her 3 awards, including Best New Artist, and disarmed viewers with a performance that set the Los Angeles stage ablaze. Megan and Queen Bey earned 2 awards together for their remix of the rapper's smash hit Savage. Prior to 2021, Beyoncé, the megastar, boasted 24 Grammy wins to her name, but notoriously lost Album of the Year in 2017 to British balladeer Adele.
Meanwhile, the Red Cross usually has a tough time keeping the blood supply strong due to illnesses, weather, and many more. Another challenge was added, the pandemic. Here's Mark Anthony Marco, who was at the blood donation drive hosted by the Iglesia ni Cristo in Taiwan.
Today, the Iglesia ni Cristo Church of Christ in Taiwan is conducting a blood donation activity. In spite of the pandemic, they never cease to help those who are in needs.
Ano po sa pakiramdam ninyo nakakatulong sa kapwa sa pamamagitan ng pagba-blood donation?
Siyempre, sa pamamagitan ng ganitong pagdodonate ng dugo ay makatutulong ito. Hindi man natin alam kung sino ang pag-uukulan na yung mga nangangailangan ng dugo, lalo na ngayon sa panahon ng pandemya, ay magiging daan po ito para maisalba pa. Kinakailangan yung dugo na i-donate natin ay magliligtas ng buhay. Kaya masaya sa pakiramdam kapag tayo ay nakakapag-donate ng dugo. At ang benepisyo nito sa atin, ng mga nag-donate naman, ay nalilinis yung atin pong pagdaloy ng dugo. Maganda ito sa ating katawan para lalo tayong maging malusog. At ang kasiyahang idinudulot nito, hindi lang sa nag-donate, kundi maging dun sa patutungkulan ng dugo na ating pong idinonate.
This is Mark Anthony Marco reporting for ABC News. We live in interesting times.
All right, Europeans sample and review some Filipino snacks for the first time. Ethel Constantino from our EBC North Carolina Bureau had her uncles in Belgium taste some Pinoy snacks that she brought there during her trip. She shares this with us.
Hello everyone, I'm Ethel Constantino. Today, I'm here in Durham, North Carolina in an Asian supermarket trying to find some snacks and drinks that I used to have when we were still in the Philippines. Have you tried any of these yet? Last year, when we were in Belgium, I asked my Belgian friends, Nonkel Ronnie and Nonkel Hirt, to try some of these. Watch their reaction. Are you ready, Nonkel?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the first snack that we are going to try. It's called Chippy. You first.
Me first.
And then Nonkel Ronnie. What do you think?
That's good, yeah.
They like it. Let's go to the next one. The next one that you're going to try is called sweet corn.
Sweet corn.
And do you eat corn in the first place? Try it.
Okay.
You know?
That's not nice. No.
Guys, they didn't like it. They don't like sweet corn.
No.
The next one is called pillows.
Pillows. That's for the sleep cushion.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, Nonkel Ronnie.
Nonkel Ronnie gonna try it first. Gonna smell, eh?
Yeah, you can smell.
They smell like chocolate.
Okay, try it.
We eat it, but we don't really like it.
But I like this. Can I taste?
Yes. Good taste.
Next one. It's called cheese ring.
Can put a ring on my finger.
Yeah.
Then you eat.
How do you like it?
Yeah.
Oh, they like it.
That's nice.
So far, this is their favorite.
That's our favorite.
Yes. Okay, next one. Are you ready?
Yes.
For this round, we are going to try a Philippine drink. This one is our Philippine lemon. It's called calamansi. The next one that they're going to try is calamansi juice. Ready?
Yes.
All of it. All of it. It's good? You like it?
That's good.
Uncle Ron?
No.
No.
Why?
Why not?
Don't like fruit juice.
They are going to try dried mangoes.
Yeah, that's good.
How about you, Uncle?
Good.
Both of them like dried mangoes. Are you ready for the next one?
Yeah, we are really happy.
Prawn crackers. Okay, let's try this.
I like it.
You like it? No. They're so different, but in real life, Nonkel Ronnie is the uncle of Nonkel Hirt.
Oh, that I don't like it.
Yes, for Nonkel Ronnie, no for Nonkel Hirt.
No.
We saved the best for last. It's a drink.
Again, a drink?
Yeah. A fruit from the Philippines, it's guava juice. Let's see. Why?
No.
That's it for today, guys. Let's thank our guests, Nonkel Ronnie and Nonkel Hirt. Thank you.
Bye. We love you. Bye.
Oh, I have one more, Nonkel.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want more? Hold on, I'm gonna get it.
More.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get it. Here it is, balloon. Hey,
Balloon.
where are you guys going? It's nice. I hope you enjoyed watching the video. In Durham, North Carolina, this is Ethel Constantino, Eagle News. Believe in interesting times.
Give me those balot. I want those balot.
She's got some interesting uncles over there in Belgium.
I know. We love you too. You know, they should try chocolates with chili. We have them here, right? And ice cream with chili here in the Philippines. Well, that's it for tonight's broadcast. Thank you so much for joining us. I am CJ Hero. We'll see you again tomorrow.
I wonder how they would react to bagoong.
Love bagoong.
At the end of the day, there remains so much more to be grateful for. I'm Alma Angeles, and we live in interesting times.
This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
What I want people to know is that everything they're doing online is being watched, is being tracked. Every single action you take is carefully monitored and recorded.
A lot of people think